have 80% agreed on those people who are going to be suspended from the party. One of those people are the governor. And I'm saying, are we going to just suspend the only governor we have?
Sly Ezeokenwa, National Chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, now joins us to provide more insights into the call for the suspension of Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State by a rival group within the party. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Yes, thank you very much for having me this afternoon.
Well, I mean, I've noted your chuckle, so really I'd like to know your thoughts about the threats to suspend Governor Chukwuma Soludo.
Well, for me, I think that should be the joke of the century. When I say the joke of the century, I mean, if you listen to Edozie Njoku blab on TV over a court appearance that we had yesterday in respect of a suit that I instituted at the Federal High Court, and then going to court with cameramen, to, begin to, I don't know, engage in unnecessary grandstanding is what I call laughable. He knows that he has no moral or legal ground to make the statement credited to him or the video that you played. I've said it severally, I've said it in this studio. Edozie Njoku is not the national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. When I say this, the ready question that comes to mind is, but his name is listed on the INEC website, as the national chairman of APGA. And of course, we always say we have the answer to that. If you recall, I was on this studio, I think it was on the morning show, sometime last month, and this issue came up. We tried as much as possible to analyze the different situation that brought APGA to the current situation where we are. And then if you equally realize, if you notice, if you look at, or if you pay a visit to the INEC website, you will understand, or you will see that his name, beside the name, there is written in bracket, in close bracket, court order. And we have consistently pleaded with the Independent National Electoral Commission. If you say you uploaded his name as a national chairman of APGA pursuant to a court order, why don't you tell us the court order, mandating you or compelling you to so recognize the man as the national chairman of APGA? But of course, those issues will be trashed. It's equally the fact that sometime early this month, I think precisely on the 5th day of September 2024, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division did grant myself and APGA leave to appeal the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which they always refer to. And in that leave, in the ruling of the Court of Appeal made a very emphatic statement about the national chairmanship of APGA, which, of course, was the basis upon which they granted us leave. And they said, I'm reading from, I have the ruling of the Court of Appeal delivered. I would have wished that, I don't know if you guys have it, it can be beamed live on TV. At page 8 of that ruling, the court said, the subject matter of this appeal is national chairmanship of APGA. Yet, the party APGA was excluded from the proceedings and not heard on the issue of its leadership. The second applicant hearing, that is myself, as a validly elected national chairman of APGA, has also shown substantial interest in both the subject matter in litigation. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that Edozie Njoku and his group knows fully well that they are not members of APGA. I've said it severally. Edozie left APGA in 2007. The man who he purports or claims to be the chairman of the board of trustees of APGA, Chief Chekwas Okorie, was expelled from APGA. He challenged his expulsion up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court affirmed his expulsion. And he has not come back to the party to seek for any indulgence to be readmitted as a member of the party. Of course, for us, we know what or the reason behind their antics, and that is very, very clear. I always say it, APGA has been immersed in this cycle of leadership issues every 4 years. And the problem is that there are some desperate politicians who feel that the only way they can scuttle the trajectory of development that has been witnessed in Anambra State in the past 18 years that APGA has been on the saddle of leadership is to know, look at the possibility of trying to sow a seed of discourse within the leadership of the party. It happened in 2009, because I always like to go down memory lane. This same Chekwas Okorie, with whom he is moving about from press house to press house, purported to have suspended the then governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, elected on the platform of APGA in 2009. And that was in the build-up to his re-election in 2010. Of course, we resisted them, fought the matter up to the Supreme Court, and it was at the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court affirmed the expulsion of Chief Chekwas Okorie, and that gave rise to Peter Obi being nominated for a second term in office on the platform of APGA. So we have gone through this route severally. In 2017, before Chief Willie Obiano went for his second term election, they started again. One Chief Martin Abasu came back and claimed to be the national chairman of APGA, surreptitiously went to one high court in Enugu State and obtained an order of mandamus. And with that, INEC recognized him as a national chairman. We took up the matter. And by the time we came to the Court of Appeal set aside the judgment of the Enugu State High Court. And after the rightful national chairman, then Chief Victor Oye, was returned as a national chairman, of course, Willie Obiano got his second-term ticket and ran for election and won on the platform of APGA. So we know their gimmicks. It's not new to us. Chief Edozie Njoku, the latest problem he is facing, if you recall, on the 21st day of September 2021, I think it was just on Saturday, I was in Anambra, and we had a grand rally, which was the rally ahead of the local government election, which is going to be held in Anambra State in 2 days' time, precisely on the 28th day of September. And if you see the array of persons that attended that rally, you will not be left with any doubt as to who the genuine members of the All Progressives Grand Alliance are. The wife of the foremost spiritual leader of APGA, Chief Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu, Lady Bianca, Her Excellency Lady Bianca Ojukwu, attended, as well as other members of the Board of Trustees, National Executive Committee of the party, and grassroots members of the party. I think at the last estimation, I think it was estimated, and I recall now that Arise, equally aired that rally live. It was estimated that over 10,000 persons attended that rally without any form of, trying to induce or entice them to attend the rally. Right. Because we always say APGA is more than a political party in Anambra State. It is more like a movement. And this movement, we are trying to see how we can grow this movement beyond Anambra State, to see the other states that can key into the trajectory of development that we have witnessed in Anambra State in the past 18 years. And now you have these men, these political merchants, trying to scuttle that particular view and vision of the party. And I can tell you, we are not perturbed at all. Like I said earlier on, we are used to their antics. We're used to their antics. So for them, it's all about...
Thank you for that quite comprehensive history. I think it's given us enough backdrop, but it's unfortunate to watch this leadership crisis unfold within APGA when we see it going on within the PDP, within the Labour Party, and all bunch of other parties as well. To see APGA unfold on itself is quite unfortunate, but how will peace be brought to the party? It seems that these two factions are very dug in their heels. This is the Njoku faction versus, of course, Governor Soludo's faction. There's also tension, I'm hearing, involving the shutting down of some offices within a housing estate in Awka. Now, this is the office of the senator representing Anambra Central, and of the APGA and Labour Party offices that are also within that estate. Can you tell us more?
Well, I think you've asked quite a number of questions, but I'll try and take them one by one. First and foremost, I would like to draw an allusion to the Bible. You know the story of the two, let me use the word prostitutes, that brought their case before King Solomon in the Bible. one was saying, oh, in respect of, I think 2 of them gave birth, in the middle of the night, one accidentally, leaned over the child and then the baby died. And then when the other one woke up, switched the babies. So when the matter was brought before King Solomon, one was interested in dividing the child. The other one was, please, for whatever it is worth, please allow my baby to live. Now, in APGA, you've heard him, you played the video, and you hear him threatening fire and brimstone. And that tells you that such a man does not belong to APGA. Clearly, he does not belong to APGA. And I make this very emphatic point always. When you talk about factionalization, you talk about members of the party, it can arise as a result of polarization. Just like you mentioned in Labour Party. You saw the former national chairman, or I don't know if I'm right to use that appellation for him, Julius Abure, on one side, and then you saw the governor of Abia State and their presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, on one side. These, obviously, to Nigerians are members of the Labour Party. In APGA, what we have are strangers who are coming to inherit a property that they are not part of. Like I said earlier on, Chief Chekwas Okorie was expelled in APGA under the then national chairmanship of Chief Victor Ume. It is a fact. And he challenged his expulsion up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court affirmed his expulsion. It is reported in the Nigerian Weekly Law Report. Edozie Njoku, on his own volition, left the party in 2007. Until date, we have not heard any news of them coming back through any means or any recognized means under the control of the party. In such a situation, will you be right to say that APGA is factionalized? No. Now, they make allusion to a Supreme Court correction because, you must realize how all these things started. Everybody knows that prior to the judicial haste that was perpetrated by some members of the party in 2021, when they ran all the way to Jigawa to fraudulently procure a judgment of a Jigawa State High Court. The world and the entire country knows that the national chairman of APGA before then was Chief Victor Oye, between 2019 to 2021 when that judgment was obtained. And he was already in his second term in office. It was not as if he was in his first term. He had done his first 4 years and he was in his second term. Now, it was this judgment that was set aside by the Court of Appeal, Kano Division, and subsequently affirmed by the Supreme Court. If you listen to Edozie Njoku in the video you played, you will hear him make allusion that the Supreme Court has recognized him as the national chairman of APGA, and that the Supreme Court has equally affirmed a purported Owerri Convention. And you must put these things in proper perspective and context. And the question is, does the Supreme Court have a position on this issue? The answer is no, is yes. Precisely on the 6th day of June, 2023, there is a letter I have here. And I recall that we beamed it live the first day I was on the morning show on Arise TV. In this letter, they wrote after the Supreme Court correction of its judgment, which they delivered the ruling on the 24th day of March 2023. They wrote to the Honorable, the then Chief Justice of Nigeria, and they said that by the Supreme Court correction, which had recognized Edozie Njoku as the national chairman, that INEC has refused to obey. That was their position, as contained in a letter which was written by their lawyer. Now, the Supreme Court replied them. I always say this, if anytime you guys see him, tell him, is it true or is it correct that the Supreme Court has communicated its official position to you regarding their ruling of 24th March 2023? It is appalling when you see men who are, people who have advanced, quite advanced in age, come on live TV to, begin to prevaricate or grandstand over simple and topical issues. I have a document here. This document was not written by me. This document was written by the Supreme Court, clearly telling the man that there was no way or we could not have pronounced you as the national chairman of APGA in plain black and white. He knows his days are numbered. Yesterday, we were in court. In a suit I instituted, Because the essence of the suit, which you saw the video there, they went there for unnecessary theatrics. I don't engage in unnecessary theatrics in a court of law. A court of law is a sacred place where serious issues are adjudicated. I am a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for close to 20 years at the bar, and I know the meaning of judgment and pronouncements of court. Before Honorable Justice Omotosho yesterday, they called one lawyer, and at times I wonder, the extent some lawyers can go to, unnecessarily put their reputation and their profession at risk because of politicians with inordinate ambition. A lawyer stood up in a matter you did not institute, claimed to represent APGA. The Honorable Judge said, please, sit down. You did not file this action. There is a senior advocate in court who filed the action on behalf of APGA and myself. He insisted, the court said, okay, I cannot hear you except you file a formal application to that effect. And on that basis, the court granted them adjournment.
Please allow me to interrupt
They
you.
now came out in the
Allow me to interrupt you, please.
Okay.
You've given us a very detailed clarification. You've given us a brief history of how all this crisis unfolded. But then so many questions running through my mind. APGA has only been able to succeed in one state, yet is in such deep crisis. So then, can you handle national affairs if APGA actually gets a chance to do that? And what efforts are you making at the moment to unify the party ahead of the off-cycle election, coming up in Anambra State in 2025, so that you do not lose the only state that you have?
Yeah, like I said earlier on, you see, I always like to put these issues in proper perspective. And when I say this, somehow, if you listen carefully, if we have genuine issues within the party, we will address it. Now, when I came on board as a national chairman, we had genuine issues. We conducted congresses across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, and of course, the 776 local governments in the country. We had genuine issues arising from those congresses. In fact, in respect of those congresses, there are still pending actions here and there. It is on record that myself, I have toured about 15 states from the time I became national chairman of APGA on the 31st day of May 2023, trying as much as possible to see how we can build the party. Remember, we are the foremost progressive party in Nigeria. And as a young person, I feel that there is a weight of expectation, a burden of responsibility that has been reposed on me as the national chairman of APGA. And I must do everything within my powers and within my might to justify such huge responsibility that has been bestowed on me. And I can tell you we've not rested, even for a second, trying as much as possible to sort out these issues. And it is on record that as a result of our genuine effort, we've been able to reconcile some factions of the party created as a result of the polarization following the congresses in some states. So that is given. Now, when you come to talk about issues concerning Anambra State ahead of the governorship election, I can tell you, in Anambra State, APGA is one united family. That's the point I'm trying to make.
All right,
that
then.
You see one man
Sly.
with maybe 4 or 5 persons who he claims to be his national working committee. Thank you. Okay.
I'm sure we would love to hear you elaborate more, but unfortunately we are out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this afternoon. Sly Ezeokenwa, the National Chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance.